Everything is falling into place. But Gavin Newsom's in Davos holding up props like Carrot Top, making gay oral sex jokes. Listen.
You're running around distributing knee pads to CEOs, and I think it does.
Handing them out.
And it does.
I do have a few, if you'd like. I don't know.
And honestly, it sounds.
By the way, I'm not kidding. They're the new Trump Signature Series knee pads. Yeah, and they are available online. I told you the last one sold out. And I just want to sort of. This is a serious moment. It actually. But we laugh. Anyway, these are available and in bulk too.
Gavin stalked Air Force One to Switzerland and waved around knee pads. It's kind of weird. Gavin officiates gay weddings in San Francisco and hawks knee pads for $100 a pop. What, does Gavin think this is a WNBA game, throwing around sex toys? Where does he get all of these knee pads anyway? It's none of my business. Then he started whining that Trump wouldn't let him in the club.
I was going to speak last night. It was a well-established event at the USA House. Simple conversation, discussion. After Trump's speech, they made sure that I didn't. They made sure it was canceled. And that's what's happening in the United States of America. Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. It's America in reverse.
If the bouncer doesn't let you in the door, don't moan. Just do what Melania says and be better. Who follows a sitting president overseas and then starts throwing around sex equipment? Now, I wouldn't let you in the club either. When Gavin got a chance to speak, he just sounded like Jessica Tarlov, who I love.
I want you to know Donald Trump is an historic president. That's absolutely correct. He's historically unpopular in the United States of America. In every category, he's underwater. He will be remembered in years, not decades.
Gavin's a lame duck governor running for president, and he's acting like one of these Minneapolis mommies with a whistle, chasing down men and getting in their way and screaming. Trump's cabinet's getting kind of creeped out. They're calling him a psycho San Francisco Ken doll. Listen.
The Treasury Secretary described you as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken. The White House Communications Director.
That was the U.S. Secretary of Treasury.
I have a couple more, and then you can respond. The White House Communications Director called you Gavin Newscom and a...
Newscom,
Is that kind of discourse from you, from them, good for America?
No, it's deeply unbecoming. Come on, of course it is. It's not what we should be doing. The Treasury Secretary talked about a Barbie doll. It was as if he was reading a diary and had just broken up with someone.
Why is Newsom getting emotional? The only one more emotional than Newsom's Canada.
Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
No one cares about Canada. We love them, but we don't think of them, ever. No one else does either. We trade, sometimes they're in the Stanley Cup. That's it. All of a sudden, after no one's heard from Canada since the 18th century, Gavin slapped on his knee pads and started looking up north.
Destruction is not strength. The Trump administration is weakness masquerading as strength. And people need to understand that. I respect what Carney did because he had courage of convictions. He stood up. And I think we need to stand up in America and call this out with clarity. We can lose our republic as we know it. Our country can become unrecognizable in a matter of months, just not years. It is code red.
Does Kneepad Newsom even know what he's doing over there? He's colluding with foreign countries to undermine the sitting president of the United States, the president who achieved peace in the Middle East and got our hands on Greenland. And Newsom's trying to form an anti-American alliance to take him out. Could you imagine if Trump, when he was running for president, followed Barack Obama to Davos and told Europe to stop slobbering all over him? Politics stops at the water's edge, they say. Whatever happened to the rules and norms that Democrats always say they want to uphold? Gavin only gets attention when he drafts off other people. No one listens to his podcasts unless he has Charlie Kirk on or Shapiro or Bannon. He picks a fight with Florida just so he can debate with DeSantis on Fox. He drafts off Air Force One and makes a scene in the Swiss Alps like he's some sex toy salesman. Gavin could have gone over there like a gentleman and showed off his foreign policy chops. What's the Gavin Newsom doctrine? I'm interested. What does Governor Newsom see happening in the next 10 years? We looked through his little speech. He never once mentioned Arctic security, Greenland, minerals, Russia, Ukraine, or even NATO. He gave a campaign speech to people who can't vote, and he tried to get kicked out to get a headline. Gavin can't make it on his own. He's an empty suit. And the only time he makes news is when he picks a fight with someone successful or his state catches on fire. This pick-me governor is a thirsty clout chaser slinging sex gear for ink. Stephen A., he gave him the spanking he was dying for.
To go over there and to be in the presence of other European leaders speaking against the President of the United States, I'm not down with that. Y'all might be, I'm not down with that. When we go somewhere else, it's America first. You know, our problems, yeah, are our problems. But we ain't taking dirty laundry outside. You don't go on a world stage to disrespect your own house, which is the United States of America. I don't like that at all. Not even a little bit.
The Obama crew gave him another spanking. David Axelrod said this, boy, I tell you what, Newsom's a whip-smart, charismatic Pole. His critiques of Trump are right. But this why can't people just be as courageous as me routine is tedious. Haven't we seen enough self-puffery in our leaders? Kneepad Newsom's got to grow up. But there's no father figure in the Democratic Party to discipline him and show him the ropes. Joe Biden's asleep at the beach. Obama's in Honolulu getting neutered by Michelle on Call Her Daddy. Bill Clinton, he's been held in contempt for hiding over Epstein. Who else is left? Al Gore? Gore is 77, and we're hearing reports that he was booing Trump's cabinet in Davos. Let's bring in Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who was the guy that Gore was getting all worked up about. What happened, Mr. Secretary?
So I wrote an op-ed in the FT, and it basically said that globalists, you know, offshoring all our manufacturing to cheap labor around the world had failed, and that the World Economic Forum was a failure. But I wrote that op-ed, and so at the end of this lefty, basically a very left set of talks where someone said we need a new form of capitalism, which I think is another way to say communism. And then they let me speak at the end, and I gave a 3-minute talk. And I just talked about my op-ed. And at the end of my talk, one person out of the 200 yelled out, boo. So I look over and I'm like, who booed? And it's Al Gore. And I look at him, I go, really? And he goes, boo. And I'm like, it was the greatest honor of my trip to Davos. I mean, what's better than Al Gore, incapable of discourse, incapable of anything? And you all remember that Al Gore told us that by today, in 2025, the whole ice cap would be gone and Greenland would be green.
Now it's red, white, and blue. So the joke's on,
Exactly.
on Al Gore.